Thoughts are on. All right.
Okay, it's 5 o'clock and I'd like to call this meeting of the Infrastructure and Mobility Panel to order. Oh, we're out now. Okay.
I think the gallows the other way.
The camel's water.
Yeah, so. Okay, Madam Secretary, would you please take roll?
Yes. Panelist Craig Biggs,
Here.
panelist Jay Galloway,
Present.
panelist Lydia John, I have marked for absent. Panelist Roger Schultz,
Here.
panelist Jose Tormo.
Here.
You don't have a quorum.
Okay, Madam Secretary, are there any public comments?
No, ma'am.
So then we will move to the regular agenda. First of today's meeting is to elect officers. No? Okay. Anyway. I'll just read which have yours. The meeting will seem a bit like deja vu because we did this at the beginning of our last meeting. Oh, sorry, missed step one. If you haven't already read the minutes online, take a moment to read them in the printed packet. Everyone had time to read those. Anyone in the panelists make a motion to approve the INM minutes.
I move we approve the minutes of the. Second.
Madam Secretary, can you take a roll?
Who was our second?
You're
Panelist Craig Biggs.
Aye.
Panelist Jay Galloway,
Aye.
panelist Roger Schultz,
Aye.
panelist Jose Tormo.
Aye.
Thank you.
okay. Today's meeting onto the regular agenda. We are going to elect officers so that we have a chair and vice chair. Carter, you don't need to elect a secretary, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, if you want me to do anything.
Yeah, so that's next. So, for today only, I'll run the meeting, but once the chair and vice chair are elected, under item 3 below, those panelists will run the meeting in the future. I will go ahead and finish out this meeting. What did I say that? Okay, I'm going to what, see that's document for several items you'll need to review during the meeting. First is council liaison 411 document. I think we looked at those last time. And second and third. So, next step would be to introduce panel members, but I think you all know each other. So let's just go on to the election of chairperson and vice chair. Great.
Under deja vu, I nominate Craig Biggs for chairman.
Second. We just do this.
Yes, but we have to repeat because,
Yeah, well, I think we just did this without Lydia, and we're gonna do it without Lydia.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and I don't believe she's interested in being chair. So,
No, she-
okay, by show of hands. Oh, no. All right, so Madam Secretary, will you take roll?
All right.
Count.
Panelist Jay Galloway,
Aye.
panelist Rogers Hope,
Aye.
panelist Jose Terma,
Aye.
and panelist Craig Biggs.
Aye.
Good, thank you.
You are officially resolved the position of chair.
Congratulations.
Now, can one of the panelists make a nomination for vice chair?
I nominate Rogers Holt.
Second.
I nominate Lydia Johns.
I don't know that she's interested.
I think she might be.
Can we nominate her if she's not here?
Yes,
Okay. I think that we should vote on the first nomination. Or, how do we do this again?
So
A second on Rogers.
mhm.
We didn't have a second on Lydia. Okay,
Okay, with no second, then we will vote on nominating, Roger Holt.
Discussion.
discussion.
Because of reasons I'm not ready to make public, but medically, I don't think I need to take that nomination.
Thank you. We need to know that kind of thing. So, okay.
Then I'll second the nomination.
We can do that.
Okay. So,
Or we can restate it, start from the beginning. Who originally nominated Lydia John?
okay, this time you nominated her.
No, actually,
No,
Mr. Rogers
Rogers.
nominated.
And there she is. So glad. Boys, say bye to the door.
I don't know, you may not want to go.
Better get in.
Oh, I have to sit between.
No, you can sit by me if you want.
No.
Okay.
Do I need to move?
So we're on number 4, election of chairperson and vice chairperson. Panelist Biggs was just nominated as chairman, and they're trying to decide on vice chair.
Okay, and you have been nominated. Nothing like making an entrance. Okay. Okay. Any further discussion on?
Well, does she accept it, or do we need to?
She said, okay.
You did?
He read between the lines.
Okay.
Okay, so
It was 2 meetings.
again, Madam Secretary, can you call for the vote?
Sure. I'm just. Okay. So panelist, Rogers Hope. Okay. Panelist Jose Parma.
So what are we voting for on?
Lydia John.
Lydia Johns as the vice chair. Aye.
Panelist Craig Bay.
Aye.
Panelist Jay Galloway.
Aye.
And panelist Lydia John.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you. Your choice as to whether you want to go up to the introduction by.
Okay, let's just go back to, last time, we had a brief introduction of the panel members, and so I'd like for you to, please go for it. Your name, how long you lived in Wood Creek, and description of your professional background, brief description of your interests.
Oh, boy, that can take all night. We won't do that.
Okay.
My name's Lydia Johns. I've lived in Wood Creek now almost 13 years. And my background, I was an educator. I worked for Round Rock Independent School District for 25 years. When I retired, I was one of their people over the technology for special education. So I ran a whole lot of things, did a lot of project management and that sort of thing. And as part of my service to Wood Creek, I served on the primary roads panel that started, 2014, and have been on the Planning and Zoning Commission as well.
You're currently vice president,
Yeah,
vice chair of that.
Vice Chair of Planning and Zoning.
Do you need introduction of any of the other members?
For
Do you
what?
know everyone?
I know Jose and I know Rogers, because we're on Planning and Zoning together, but I don't know these two gentlemen.
Okay. Jay?
I'm Craig Davis.
Nice to meet you,
Nice to
Craig.
meet you. Anything else, Rick?
Did you wanna kind of do what you did at the last meeting?
I will do that.
Been here.
I've lived in Wood Creek now for 14 years, moved here from Bastrop after we were burned out in the wildfire.
Oh, my condolences, that was
Yeah.
awful.
35 years in the electronic industry, 10 in commercial banking. Was on the road committee at the very end and wanted to continue my work with that, so here I am.
Okay, great.
Jay Galloway, I've lived here in Wood Creek, I guess, full-time 3 years. Prior to that, we bought our home here as a vacation home in 2014, so we've actually been coming back and forth and spending a lot of time here in Wood Creek since 2014. My background is as an engineer, spent really only about 5, 6 years as an engineer. The rest of the time is all spent in IT, primarily in aerospace.
Interesting group.
Yeah,
Mhm.
great. Okay. The next item, we kind of went over last time, but just for a quick review and for, maybe sake, item 4 was a review of the formation doc ordinance for this panel. Has everyone had a chance to view that document? It's still marked incomplete because legal has not yet signed it. Snuck out before it signed things last time, so, okay. Is there any discussion needed?
I have one. These are, big bites of the pie.
Mhm.
Has the council established, any kind of a priority for, those items that are included in the scope?
That,
There, okay, not really.
So that they're not listed in any particular order.
listed now.
No, but, there is going to be our last item here where, city manager would like us to establish a public forum regarding drainage. But other than that, unless I think the panel can select its own priorities. There's a lot, this is huge, what
It
is
is
given to
huge.
this panel.
Yeah, the scope is very big.
So,
Drainage in of itself is huge.
yes. And like, let's say the road maintenance, that's actually an important concept, component, but because the roads are new, I think we probably will be budget for something, but it's not going to be as large an ongoing thing this current year. Infrastructure expansion, I think, that won't be, that was put in this ordinance, but, any acquisitions are gonna be the business of the city council.
And it includes City Hall.
Okay, yeah, and any expansion of city hall, so a component like that might be taken up. Drainage is, we have some drainage funds But this is huge, and a great deal of that will be handled by the engineers. And, city manager is very involved in that. Things like the pedestrian mobility, traffic flow, yes, those are things that can be handled right away. Traffic calming, the same. And then, the citizen input survey, that's the one that will be last to set a date as soon as possible.
Would it be possible to get a debrief or a status report from the city engineer on where they are on traffic calming and I think they've been working on the drainage and flooding already. So it'd be nice to know where they are or what. I think there's been some engineering work already done.
Yes, there has been. And we have some issues with Deerfield that will be separate.
Deerfield.
And if y'all wanna watch the video on, 424, the city council video on 424, a timeline's been created, that is, each section of the video is associated with the agenda item. So there's a presentation by Freeland Turk that when you hover over the timeline, you'll be able to see where that is. I think it's probably an hour and a half. But if you watch on YouTube, you can speed up the playback speed. And then the city manager gave a report by city manager at the last council meeting on the 8th. I have not put the timeline on that.
But I would suggest,
If you want.
get a meeting with the city manager.
How do you say, should we be requesting or can we, I guess we probably won't have the power to compel him to.
Oh, he will be delighted, I would say, because he's very, up to date and has been working. And he will also give you the parameters of how much you can directly talk to the engineers and how much you need to talk to him. Because of course, we don't, just like talking to the attorney, we don't want each panel member asking questions. But I think he will be very helpful and very knowledgeable about where we are and where we are not.
Okay,
So
so
we can't really,
I propose that we, put
can
him on
we
the
do that
calendar.
if it's not on
Hmm.
the agenda? Oh, yes, because we are under formation ordinance, and that is a question relevant to that.
So the next meeting, you just want Kevin to be able to do an update between what the engineers presented, almost a month ago on the drainage projects, and you want the community development
So-
program of Deerfield, or just the drainage stuff?
I think we need to know, you need to know about it.
We need to know about Deerfield, both the paving and the drainage. And I think we know a lot about it already, but yes, it would be good for have him come in and address us about the status of Deerfield, what we're gonna actually do. Because the residents are not pleased. And we should have the engineers come and talk about the 7 or 8 or 9 list of things that they had as their remits that they were working on. And, including going over what their proposals were for drainage at Brook Hall.
Oh,
They haven't given any proposals yet,
For all of
Okay,
yeah.
But, on Deerfield, the engineers proposed something that they didn't even look at the street. They actually probably from a Google map or something, came up with something that's impractical, like giant ditches on each side. And so that just has to be reworked. We also need, an impact statement that it can probably be 6 months before environmental impact statement. So you need to hear, there's complexities because of that bond or that grant. And so I think the best one to hear that from,
Mr. Rule.
Kevin. So we will There were eye-opening things on that.
Good.
But also will be the best one to kind of go over where we are with other engineering, items of drainage.
Okay.
But I would definitely watch that video presentation from
Because you might get
August
questions.
24th. It might answer some of the questions.
August or April?
April.
April.
Yeah.
It's like-
Last one.
Yeah.
April 24th.
Okay.
Thank you.
Notwithstanding that, can he come next month and basically
Who, Kevin?
answer our questions
Probably.
on the scope of work? And maybe, it may be as brief as, no, you guys don't need to worry about that,
Yeah.
or, yeah, here's where we are.
Excellent idea, yeah.
I know that we've had a lot of other drainage studies done in the past through different roads committees and things, and so, and traffic calming things and stuff, so, I mean, there are, I don't know if you have them in archives or whatever, but we could pull those out, there were some really good
Mhm.
suggestions on
Okay,
things like
so
that.
then, and item number 7 on what Susanna put together, the secretary put together for me. Discuss and take possible action to establish a date, time, and meeting place for a public town hall regarding the city's drainage projects. We also, in fact, some of the better information is what citizens have compiled over the years. They've got pictures and good history, more than what some of our engineers have come up with, so.
Do you want to tell them about the January 2023 Brook Hollow and Westwood meeting, here in the neighborhood meeting?
I would, but I think that's 1 month I wasn't here. And could you describe that? Yeah, you were there, right? Okay.
All, the main focus of having a town hall is to kind of get citizens input, like Mr. Turtle has, you know, the different issues in the different areas, find out where the flooding is actually occurring, let the engineers hear it firsthand from the residents. Is initially our previous engineer had visited the site, the intersection at Westwood and Brook Hollow, and it was far more extensive than what they originally thought, until we had that neighborhood meeting. So the neighborhood meeting will gather all that input so that the engineers can focus in the right area. Because I think there's at least 4 areas that I know of where it floods fairly a lot in the city,
Frequently and deeply.
frequently and deeply.
And prior road panel, we had identified those 4 areas. And, so I can compile all the information we've done from that, and that's from 2023.
When was that? January 23,
No, well, when we started looking,
the meeting,
The neighborhood meeting was
the neighborhood.
end of January.
23.
But that was just the Brook Hollow Westwood people.
No, I guess what I'm saying is 2022.
So we're, item 7 then is to have another meeting like we already had.
No, that was simply one area.
Okay,
Item 7 is,
right.
we have maybe all 4 areas.
Okay.
That include the ETJ area.
No,
Now,
I was gonna say, before we really, I think if we schedule something, we need to schedule it with enough time for the engineers to have some idea of some places, maybe as nudge, you know, look at this area, you know, so that when they come in and people want to talk about those things, they need to have an idea of what.
and that might be in progress, because, city manager is calling for this. So I guess first step, maybe even before our next meeting, 2 weeks from now, then we need to talk to city manager and get his input. And with exactly that kind of phrasing, like how are the engineers prepared for a public meeting?
Right.
Or do we need to give them direction?
Is it possible to have a workshop meeting just for that, if he feels that we need to say,
just for you guys?
I think so, I think it's
I
right.
think that's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
We know, before we walk into a date. Yeah.
Well, and we don't wanna waste people's time.
Exactly. That only causes people to get more irritated and antsy. So, to be
And a
able,
workshop is right for that. Okay. Should we ask for a proposed,
Are you so you're wanting to hold off on the public town hall until after you get a workshop date for your panel?
a workshop with city manager?
Okay. Because you can phrase the motion, I make a motion to postpone, setting a public town hall until after a workshop on XXX date, and you can determine what days you want to have if you want to have a special meeting, or if you just want to wait until your next regular meeting, that's up to you guys.
are we gonna try to do a workshop prior to our regular meeting?
I
We can.
suggest that would be.
I
a
suggest
good
that would be a
Yeah.
good idea.
I think that would be
You
an excellent idea.
Because we're already slow getting this
Yeah.
video going, because I've been.
I would suggest that we query the city engineer and ask him when he is available and when he thinks that he could support a workshop.
Okay, and
Rather than saying, hey, we're having a workshop with you tomorrow.
Yeah,
okay, right. And, okay, then we would just have to kind of, what days,
2 weeks.
are there any
from now.
days that you can't do it? No. Let's say it's an afternoon.
We have a holiday coming up. May 27th is Memorial Day, so City Hall will be closed. If you want to do,
Because the question really gets back to him, is how long does he need to prepare for, to present for having a workshop?
or a workshop on the proposed date of May, whatever. And then if it doesn't work, then we can just schedule it as.
And I would think as part of that workshop, I would hope that we could come to some concept on when they would be ready for let's say all hands, but, a hit up around a town hall meeting.
Okay, and what they think the scope of that might be. They might want to limit it.
Yeah, before we start setting a date, I think we need a little more education on what,
Okay, so,
what they think that is going to be discussed, other than just sitting there and listening to, townspeople rant and rave. I mean, that's not the purpose of the meeting. The purpose of the meeting is for us and city engineer to provide current state, state of the art or state, the current state of the union, where we are with, evaluation of the flooding situation within the city. They want, inquiring minds want to know.
well, I know that when we did that city hall for the comprehensive plan, Kate Reese came up with those really nice visuals that people could look at and interact with. And if we did something of that nature, where we had streets and identified areas and, that sort of thing, that way people would be able to look at their area and see that, okay, this is on the radar type thing.
and kind of, but this is a little different than a comprehensive plan.
Oh, yeah,
In
I know.
that engineers are going to, there's gonna be limitations.
Sure.
Yeah.
We want public input, but
Right,
within reason,
right.
like that. And I guess what I'm trying to get to, I know when we were trying to get our first meeting, it was like back and forth, who's got this day? While we're all here together, I still would like to kind of pinpoint a day, maybe next week
For a workshop?
for workshop, well, or just even to talk to Kevin, city manager.
I think that's the first step.
Yeah, I think
But
that is.
not, they'll put it too long in the future. We're the 14th.
The soonest it could be would be for next Tuesday, a week from now,
Okay.
for agenda preparation, posting and stuff.
I'm free.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm free in the late afternoon, but not the morning.
That's true, I'm not free in the morning, because I have a doctor's appointment.
What about 2 o'clock afternoon?
What time?
2 o'clock?
I'm good.
On the 21st.
Okay. So Kevin is available, we will.
Well, bring in a motion.
That's all back to, you know, my suggestion earlier was find out when, the first opportunity we could do this, try to meet with the city engineer on this topic.
Is there room available?
Yeah, that's why I'm checking our calendar. Now, do we need a motion?
Yes, the motion would be something similar to, postpone action on a public town hall and replace it with, not replace it, postpone action on setting a public town hall until after a workshop with the INM panel
With city manager.
with the city manager.
And city engineer.
Yeah, and the city, yeah.
So moved.
Since you so beautifully phrased it.
I second the motion.
I was just gonna ask.
That's what you would have said.
So y'all are looking at the 21st at 2 o'clock. So I'll put out feelers.
Now, we're probably not going to have a lot of input from the engineers, you know, that is just, but at least we can get a grip on where we are and go from there. Okay,
Yeah, I mean, they'll have an idea of what work's been done, what areas are easily feasible, maybe even a priority order of those areas that they can address, those that we can address immediately, those that will require a much more study, in-depth study, simply because it requires much more engineering in order to, gee, where are we gonna drain this water to?
Roger's good.
Yeah, I don't know, I guess I can ask it then. From the expert on meetings, what's the difference between a regular meeting and a workshop? Is there anything we can or can't do?
A workshop changes the format to where instead of being defined only by defining your discussion or limiting your discussion by what's explained in here, a workshop can have bullet points for general discussion. And there's just an open time and a closed time. And then once the workshop closes, then the action items are after that.
But we can't take any action.
Not inside the workshop.
Okay.
It's all pure discussion in any order that you want. It's kind of a free deal for all.
Thank you.
Okay, any further discussion on that motion? Then, Secretary, last thing.
Yes, ma'am. Panelist Holt,
Aye.
panelist Torma,
Aye.
panelist Craig Biggs,
Aye.
panelist Jake Elowitz,
Aye.
panelist Lydia Johns.
Hi.
Thank you, motion passed.
So based on the agenda, it would appear, just a comment, it would appear to me that the city council has prioritized as flooding and flood control to be our number one priority.
But actually, that wasn't city council, that was actually the city manager.
But it's
Said city manager, yes, I think the city council has a different set of priorities.
Well, this item number 7 basically was a priority chosen based on the April 24th presentation like Freedom Church. What can be done now versus what's later, things like that.
One other item there, okay, at the last meeting, we chose to hold meetings on the second Tuesday of the month at 5 o'clock. Are all panels still in agreement with that?
I'm fine, except I'll be out of the country on the next meeting. At my niece's wedding.
Okay. Yeah, okay, so we don't need a further motion.
No.
Okay,
What if, gee, since she's gonna be gone, what else can we, where?
As Suzanne, I'm very leery of missing meetings, because. Yeah. If you need something done, you give it to a busy person.
yes, or if somebody's not in the room.
That's exactly right.
Okay. And we can't discuss it yet, but I wanted to note that for further, future agendas, we'll be working on budgets and we need to set aside some money for public meetings or for a survey regarding trails, things like that. So we will, we have a little bit of time, but, this panel needs to ask for the money for this project or something else you think we may need to allocate money for, which would include, ongoing maintenance. You know, things are good, we can have the washouts of certain sections of road, the more quickly they're repaired, the less future damage. So just think about budgeted items for future meetings.
So, I mean, those first two things you said, public meetings and surveys, those are things that we're calling for ourselves.
Yes.
Right.
Maintenance money, capital for drainage projects, capital for, mobility enhancement, that's city money. That's not us. That's
Well, and it's already been allocated. So,
2025.
right, well, no, back up. For money that's proposed to be spent in 24 was already budgeted. But for the next year, that also would be something.
Right,
to be
so,
involved.
okay, so, but we should get moving on that quickly because the budget work is done in June.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It'll begin in June, it won't finalize
Right.
until September.
but
Yeah,
Right. But
the more we're on top of it, the more likely they'll.
the ask needs to be done.
Yes,
right. And you have to be pretty specific with kind of the line item too, I think.
Yeah.
If this is what you want, you know, how much do you want allocated to that specific?
and why do you think that amount
Right.
is sufficient? Okay.
And another thing y'all might want to think about having on your next agenda is addressing street cuts of running roads. That was something that Platinum Panel had started and then didn't have an opportunity to finish.
I thought we finished up, okay.
What was that?
Street cuts and the street
Yes.
maintenance program.
That is an open item from the committee.
Okay.
So we don't want these new streets cut.
No.
Regulations on contractors who cut the road, for cables and stuff, and the regulations, how they cut it, how they repair it.
So I can,
Very important. Yeah,
It is.
yeah, that was left open from the road committee.
Now, that was a discussion in 2014.
I'm sure.
You know, that they needed to bore under rather than cut the road.
So those three items, budget allocation, street cut regulations, and street maintenance, I can create something for, I'll work with you to get agenda items on the next agenda with the workshop.
Okay, well, we're really not supposed to talk about much more, so, let's see.
And June 11th, you'll be out of the country?
I'll be out of the country.
So just going back to our documentation on traffic calming. I thought that was complete in terms of, then we were to go forward plan on traffic calming.
Well, the engineering input on that was discussed in the last council meeting,
That's at 4:25 meeting.
at 4:24. And,
I really encourage you all to watch that video.
yes.
Just that presentation by Freeland Kirk, and you'll probably get a lot of questions.
Okay.
Because you can't really talk about it without it being in that.
Okay.
Talking about it in the context of infrastructure panel.
So let's put it on the agenda for next meeting.
Right. And as well as whatever cost to repair those roads if these devices need to be removed. Those kind of things.
They're not.
When these devices.
Well, the handout you gave us last meeting, that contains some of those items, there's other items in there too. Like funding the additional paving to 4 or 5 individual persons' driveways.
Oh,
We need
okay.
to put that on there.
That's a done deal.
Yeah, I
That's
think
council.
that's council is agreed upon.
Yeah.
But what council did not do is, I didn't feel a definite, that the cost was defined.
We're outside the agenda.
Yes,
I
okay,
really would watch that video. There was a lot of discussion on the
Yes.
engineering project on April 24th under the presentation by Freeland Kirk.
So if the council has funded 5 driveways,
They had it funded.
okay, that's what I thought they hadn't funded. So we could still make a recommendation
yes.
to fund the other 27.
We don't know about numbers.
I did a survey. There are at least 27 other driveways in worse shape, is same or worse shape than those 5.
We can, I'm sorry, Rogers, we were like,
Take it up
Way out.
next time.
I'd be happy to present city staff, give you, what do you call it, a drive around, drive by, sounds terrible.
Yeah.
Assessing the driveways, and I can put something in the next agenda.
Well, basically, the question, I think, should come from this committee, but the question is basically, I think, based on what criteria was that money allotted? It's normally against the rules for the city to do private, paving on private. But yet we picked 5, why did we pick those 5 when there's 27 others? And so it's like a recommendation to council, I guess, or a question to council. I don't know how that comes about, but that's part of
Can
our.
we talk about that in our work?
Yes,
In our workshop,
Yes.
because we'd be more open.
yes,
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, we're